There we go. We're gonna be soon seeing who is gonna be advancing into the semifinals of the quarterfinals between Run Forest Run and the opponents Clan Ark, as after leading 2-0, Arks are right now on the precipice and oh ho ho ho. Yeah, they're gonna be probably happy once they learn what kind of map this is. Yep, it's Migra. They have already learned that it is exactly the case, and I'm thinking they're gonna be happy about what the gods have actually chosen. It seems like the civilizations are gonna be the same for both Vikings, Mongols, Huns. Nobody went for some kind of luck guessing that they are not gonna be encountering a water map. Yeah, well, they did encounter a water map, so good job everyone, not trying to basically do something unusual. And how are gonna be the matchups? Oh, well, Vikings on the flank right now for Argentinians. He's gonna be against a Viking from RFR, so that's a nice fair spawn right there. The pocket is gonna be Aramis as the Mongol. For the enemy team, it's gonna be Spaden as a Mongol, so this is an absolutely fair spawn. Thank you, random generator, for making it like this for a blind random decider. That's really nice. Well, there are of course plenty of opportunities for RFRs to somehow try to avoid some kind of full-on water battle. It definitely could be an opportunity for them to land fast and try to surprise their opponents that way. It can happen, and if you play it correctly, it can work. But well, let's see how clans are gonna be approaching this, and if I had to guess, Argentinians are probably gonna be resorting to some kind of sling. Because Aramis is yet again in the pocket, and he's the Mongol who is not exactly that great on the water, but he's not really that bad. It's a viable civilization. It can actually work on the water. So maybe it's just gonna be full-on 3v3 on Galley Russian, or basically just flanks also playing for the Galley Russian and the pockets going for fast castle. Since they are both Mongols, and basically overall the teams are heavily mirrored, it's gonna be interesting to see what strategies the clans choose. Otherwise, on the main land, it seems that everybody is having the positions of the resources quite alright. Not really any kind of huge problem for either side. It seems like if they wanted to rock anywhere, yeah, don't expect any problems with that. It's gonna be the same for all. And the fishies, is there any kind of issue? So far I don't really see it. Maybe that there are not all that many fishies in here. That could be potentially a bit better for Spaden, but he's probably gonna be coming for the rock at the top, looking at the villager. So he's gonna be a bit happier, as there are a few more fishies in here, and especially in the middle between him and Philosopher. So yes, that seems to me like a pretty good spot for him. But otherwise, let's see where the rocks are gonna be placed. In the front for Dark Levi's, he's flank and Vikings, so yes, wouldn't expect anything else. It's gonna be the same for Maxi, also coming for the right side and such position of his dog, as otherwise there's gonna be a dog on the right side for Aramis. Okay, so it seems like almost that they might be actually coming this way, that Aramis will be coming this way to the bottom to help his teammate Maxi, whereas at the top is gonna be Spaden actually helping his other teammate. And to be honest, it makes a whole lot more sense to actually leave the Vikings alone and basically help the other teammate, who is not a Viking, so the Hun in there. So really thinking that it would be slightly better how Spaden is right now thinking about it. And it's still not set in stone, and Aramis could be switching there as well. He can probably put a few docks on the left side as well, just basically because of efficiency. So yes, that might happen, and most probably will. So we right now cannot really say who's gonna be helping whom. Here is this interesting information that RFR won migration against Arks a few seasons ago. Yeah, well, definitely could be. Definitely could be. And if that did happen, then RFRs do have experience with this map, which is nice to see. But, well, they are, as I said, silvers, so from last season, so that basically means that they, by default, have experience with plenty of maps, because coming through playoffs against top clans, against top other clans, it means that you basically can play mostly at all maps. And this is, though, kinda unlucky for a Bullet, especially considering that he's a flank player. This is actually very bad for him, because this is not only on top of each other, but much more importantly right next to water. So if he loses this, then kinda goodbye. This could be tricky, and basically puts quite a lot of importance on Bullet playing properly, and probably Spaden helping him as fast as possible, because that could get seriously tricky. This is gonna be problematic. Stone, the gold is though Is it completely safe? I'm not sure if this cannot be passed. I'm gonna guess that maybe not, but not entirely certain. But this gold seems to be fairly safe right about now for Carbo. For Aramis, unsafe gold, of course. Stone, a lot safer. Otherwise, for the orange player, for Maxi, also kinda sucky gold for him. The stone is... Oh! Oh! Okay, that should have been a restart at this point. But they didn't call it. They didn't call it, and he saw it. They didn't really talk about it in chat, right? No sheep. I kinda think that he had sheep. Much more importantly, he didn't even complain about it. I mean, like, that's interesting. You can see that Maxi is basically starting without stone. And maybe, I'm kind of thinking this is gonna be basically figuring out that playing on migration is gonna be actually gonna be advantageous for them against RFRs. And he doesn't want a rare on blind random again. So, yeah. Well. To be completely honest, on migration you can get by without stone quite fine. Quite fine, even though it's gonna be getting tricky when you want to place town centers on the mainland. That's where it gets slightly tricky, but you're not gonna be producing a tower, so you should be having enough for at least one. And that should be enough to get you enough stones in there. This is really funny. Probably not funny for Maxi, but overall it's really funny. It seems like not really that bad stone, but it is bad. It's targetable from the water, this gold as well. For the other players, yep. Targetable from the water most definitely for Spaden. And well, we have already seen the kind of unlucky position for Philosopher. But let's really see how Maxi is gonna be faring. Because he should be already right now in the next stage, which he is. Gonna be producing a few extra boats as soon as possible. And let's see. Well, this actually, the night house is kind of problematic, maybe. If it can be continued, but apparently not, because of course the first boats from Maxi are already out, so this seems to be like a fair fight between the Vikings, 25-24. One more villager for Maxi, so it's actually nicely played by him. He's having advantage this early in the game, but on the other side, or rather on the other side, it seems to be basically the same, as Carbo is also advancing forward on Bullet, as Bullet is already in the second stage, also as the Han, but yeah. He's at 28 villages, whereas his opponent is at 26. So that kind of explains, because that's... Well, it doesn't really explain a whole lot. At this point, they should be probably having the same amount of villages, more or less. Because they should be basically equaling up. But yeah, it just basically speaks to the fact that Bullet is probably playing slightly more efficiently than his opponent. So Carbo did advance faster and was abusing the shoreline quite a bit faster. But apparently, well, those are just waiting here for all of those to come back there or rather come back there as well. It's also kind of funny spawn of the island. Gonna be interesting as the boats of course can shoot at each other from across, but cannot really follow all that easily. It's like some kind of counter like in some kind of office. They can be looking at each other across, shoot at each other across, but once somebody actually falls back, well, the other cannot follow. That's really funny. Interesting things on this map and overall. Well. Anyway, of course right now gold is being heavily punished by Carbo. That's of course exactly the problem that we were talking about. And unfortunately Bullet somehow underestimated this. He should have been following it up. Right now finally he is in there. He's gonna be getting an advantage right now, Carbo, through that, because he killed the villager. But kinda weirdly, he's not following up with the rest. Like, why? Right now when he sees the boats there, which he probably didn't even. This is so weirdly played by Carbo. Too defensive. Too defensive to my liking. He should be probably sending a whole lot more in there to attack. And yeah, here we go with the sling. Aramis is gonna be slinging, not really joining into the water fight at all. And that's gonna be resulting into what then? Into what then? Who is he actually slinging into? Let's see. Into Maxi. Okay, into the Viking. You can see coinage coming up from Spaden as well. As he's though advancing Castle Age. Okay, so he wants to advance on the land. He already is there. Just now advancing. He's gonna be wanting to actually produce town centers. And then send resources to his flanks. Because they've probably recognized that the sling is going on. Because they haven't... Well, kinda, it's not that hard. They haven't seen purple, or rather, not purple, what is it color? Grey. They haven't seen Grey anywhere, so they probably figured, yeah, he's gonna be slinging. Which is not a bad guess, of course, because it's true, as we know. We have already looked into the achievements in there. But yeah, right now, finally, here we go, exactly confirmation. Spaden is gonna be slinging as well. So both Slang Vikings are gonna be coming into play in here pretty soon. This is gonna be slight advantage right now for Maxi. So, of course, red player will have to be a bit more careful for the time being, before it is all decided, as well, those boats are still very much alive, being annoying as much as possible, but otherwise Bullet is able to secure his gold, especially since he is building a tower in there, and he's gonna be even pushing forward into Carbo. So it seems like that the crisis is more or less over, though I'm fairly certain that Spaden won't be happy about those boats wrecking his economy. He's not gonna be happy about that at all. But yeah, well, his teammates overall either, because of course that's when they're gonna be, or rather why they're gonna be getting a few more resources. A Stone Center is gonna be dropped for him because of the Castle Age, and Castle Ages are coming from Maxi and Carbo on both flanks. Is actually Aramis slinging both? Aramis into... yeah, he's actually slinging a bit into both. So far though, it seems on the other side it's only Spaden into Dark Device, as Bullet is quite happy on his own, which is probably gonna change as soon as he realizes that he's not having some kind of decisive advantage. But to be honest, he kind of does have the advantage. Looking at the numbers and the enemy numbers, it's at least equalish. So maybe he could be pushing the advantage, but apparently he doesn't want to, as those sheep, well, that's the only landing. Besides, the few villages coming from Aramis from the bottom. This is just basically efficiency for the docks and for the fishy gathering, as he's also moving forward with the backs, and gonna be hoping for a few horses here and there. But of course, that's gonna be a bit too late already, as Dark Device with the horses is already in there, and he's kinda doing all of it. Not only going for some kind of extra town centers, he's also coming for horses to protect the land, and also slinging. So he's like doing everything in this game, absolutely everything. So Wargal is Maxi, Wargal is Carbo, Castle Age, Aramis and Dark Device. Okay, so Aramis maybe stopping with the sling. Could be. Maybe he's already gonna be coming onto land as well, because he probably recognized and saw that Spaden is already prepared and already done on the mainland, so he basically needs to hurry up if he doesn't want to lose the game overall. And the villagers coming forward, or rather coming a bit back, trying to somehow gather at least a bit of stone, but it's always gonna be tricky, because Castle Age is still underway for Dark Device, and he's already facing against War Galleys, and he somehow needs to keep this battle alive, without a lot of the boats coming somewhere in through corner, and abusing the villages on the wood, and of course on the gold, or rather on the stone. And the wood is actually a pretty big problem, because all the wood is very close to the water, so if he cannot somehow outmaneuver his opponent, that's always gonna be getting tricky. So apparently Blue is coming forward onto the land as well, already with a few villages. So gonna be joining with his teammate in there. As advice on the water, he's probably giving up on it. Yeah, he's kinda giving up on the water. He's not interested anymore. So he basically is having just a few boats left. And otherwise, it's just gonna be a lot of ferrying, trying to get as many villages on the mainland and into the safe ground as possible. In the meantime, of course, Spaden is doing exactly what he needs to do on a map like this. He's just basically owning the land and trying to place town centers at the crucial placements, which is a right decision. As in the meantime, Orange, or rather, well, Orange not, Orange is fighting on the water. Grey is basically trying to land himself exactly as we were expecting at this point, and he is trying to match up what Spaden is doing, but it's always gonna be a bit tricky. In the meantime, Red is more or less losing the water. He's basically right now resorting himself to trying to get rid of as many fishing boats as possible, basically trying to slow down the economy that is still remaining in there. And since he is not... is he interested in the water? No, he isn't. Yeah, well, this is gonna be a very heavy massacre. Quite heavy massacre in there, as, oh well, that kinda hurts to see. But of course, the ferrying is also going on and is underway, as Dark Device is trying to secure at least some kind of position on the main island, and hoping that he can be actually fast enough as the knights. And, well, those camels are kinda the main army in here. Okay, so Purple is basically saying that his player is kinda GG, which is kinda true. For the right side, it's more or less true as well for Maxi, because Dark Device is also kinda out of the water. And yep, he is kinda donish. And he is unfortunately not gonna be able to transport any more villages at this point, but I think he actually transported plenty at this point. And the game is gonna be hanging in the balance all on Spaden. So if Spaden still keep himself alive, you can see fighting in there even against the wolf, against all kinds of wolves. He's having at least a bit of water economy, but it's probably not gonna be lasting for much longer. Red was able to transport some villages here and there. Apparently that's gonna be more or less it. More or less it for the time being. Not gonna be able to transport anymore. But Green is having very good presence, but maybe he should be coming forward a bit more. And I'm really at this point expecting that both blue and red should be slinging, because they are kinda really impossibly behind at this point, since they have lost their islands and basically majority of the villages. But they are rebuilding, they are getting some resources, and I'm kinda thinking that they would be the best spend if they could get them to Spaden, who is the only one who is still kinda alive. Well, of course it's not gonna be true for much longer, because purple is all across him as well. But with the towers being in there, he's definitely trying to protect this gold as much as possible. He definitely needs it. Well, does he really need it? I'm not entirely certain he needs it all that much, because there are some gold mines for him. They are definitely there, so maybe just a kind of unnecessary risk, but he is already dropping the castle in here, and Red in the meantime is doing what he can to annoy his opponent as much as possible. And right now we're probably gonna learn if they can pass. So can they pass or not? Come on, try it. Well, so far he's just basically happy killing the woodies. Well, doesn't seem so. Oh, sorry. She just turned back the boat in there. So I don't exactly think so that he can actually pass that part of the map. And well, there still is quite an opportunity to kill a few villages if they are not careful. Which it seems that they are so far not really all that much. You can see that on the right side still plenty actually of opportunity for Dark Levi's to gather from this gold. As he's right now desperately trying to finish with the tower, and he will finish. He will finish because just those two war guys are not gonna be enough. You can see coinage for Maxi. So Maxi is gonna be switching into Sling himself. Into his teammates, it seems like, because he's the Viking, so he doesn't want to fight on the land all that much. But the tower being built, maybe a second as well a bit later, and the gold still could be kind of viable for the red player. But Orange just landed with a few units here and there. Aramis is having a few Mongols knights already prepared as well, as he is growing. He is definitely growing. And it's just a basic question if it's gonna be fast enough or not, because so far Spaden is the one who is having this game in his hands, and it's gonna be all about him able to close it fast enough and basically not allow arcs to somehow really establish themselves on the land too much. That's always gonna be a bit tricky. Banking for Maxi, Imperial Age for Spaden, that's gonna be the very first one in the game. And let's see how actually, by what margin. Aramis, well, he's definitely getting into Imperial Age as well in a reasonable time. Carbo, not that much. Maxi also not. But they're gonna be sending the resources in a sling in there. As of course Green is right now losing the economy, but he's really fighting for it. This is so nice, because he's definitely feeling that they can win this game still, even though they are losing the water. So he's fighting for all the resources that he can get, and basically also to make it difficult for the opponents to claim the water fully. And basically make them think twice before going into the land full. So this is kinda nice diversive action. That could be really going quite a long way if executed properly. So in the meantime, of course, Mangorais are being researched, or other being made, and researches for them are being made. Botkineru, for example, the Imperial Age coming up as well, as Dark Device is going for coinage, and yeah, he's just gonna be slinging into Spaden. That's just basically only logical course at this point. Philosopher, aka Bullet, is already at 77 villages though, even though he has lost his main island. Not really that fully, still a few farms are kinda viable for him. And since he's already having so many TCs, he has basically come back into the game from behind the grave, or rather beyond the grave. And he doesn't need to sling. At this point he is quite a valid player. Quite a valid player indeed, and he can just basically pursue his own endeavors. And since he's Han, he can be producing horses very easily and very quickly. So this is looking very promising for RFRs at this point. Well, for arcs, Economies are only strong for Aramis. 86, 48 and 57. For RFRs it's 33, well of course, but then 88 and 84. So this is actually not half bad for RFRs. Two strong players against basically one strong player. That could definitely work, especially since they are having very good resources through being able to claim them faster than their opponents. And that means that castles are gonna be coming up, blocking, for example, orange here. One orange here, but unfortunately the boats are not exactly in the correct placement in here. So castle is done. Castle is down, purple is absolutely everywhere with all his boats and whatever. But is he gonna be able to do something significant? Probably here. That's gonna be a bit of an issue for Bullet. He will have to move somewhere else. But interestingly enough, Aramis is already having double castles and is producing Mangolais himself. And he is in the Imperial Age also. So yeah, but I heard some trebuchets somewhere. Yeah, here. That was a trebuchet for Spaden. Coming forward, Imperial Age is coming for Carbo and Bullet. So this is gonna be a basically 2v2. 2v2 with a bit of sling in there. And of course, the upper hand is so far for RFRs, quite significantly so at this point. But it's not closed yet. There still could be a chance for Argentinians, especially because they do have control of the water, so they potentially could be having a few more resources in some kind of longer game. But what needs to happen is for Carbo to somehow get significantly more present, because otherwise it's gonna be only one player on the land. It almost seems like that, even though the horses are apparently coming, or other. Yeah, I was thinking right now for Maxi, but he's only the Viking, so of course not for him all that much. So, kinda scratch what I was saying. It's most probably gonna be 2 versus 1 on land. It's probably gonna be 2 versus 1 on land, whereas only Bullet is gonna be only on the water. He's gonna be denied right now the archivists quite significantly, because there's just not enough space for them. And still from the water it could be dangerous, like cannon galleons from this position could be denying a lot of resources and a lot of economy. So maybe there could be still something to be done. As properly is also landing, gonna be producing a few castles here and there, together with his ally as well. So Han as the castles, yeah, kinda why not? It's gonna be just some kind of map control so that he can establish himself a bit later for some horses. Okay, so pushing forward, but question is if it's gonna be fast enough. Well, problem of course is for Arcs that they have just lost 2 castles for a Mongol. That's a huge problem. He's gonna be down to, well, 2. Okay, he has been already rebuilding, but he doesn't have enough room. Basically, there's only this room that is potentially available to them, and they are being pushed back all the time, and they don't really fight back all that much. You can see they're not really fighting back because so far Aramis is unable to secure any kind of army for him. And even though Arcs are winning on score by how many? 1400 points on team score. 1400 points. They're certainly not looking like the winners here. They're definitely not looking like the winners. It's looking a bit more promising. Well, that's quite an understatement right there. For RFRs, as they were just able to basically play the migration to their strengths a bit better. They recognize the situation on the water exactly at the correct timing, and it seems that they might be able to overcome even losing water in full. And it wasn't really done badly by Arcs. They won the water at pretty correct timing, and not really any kind of problem with that. They killed plenty of economy for Dark Levi's and for Bullet as well, and a bit later for Spaden also. But all those towers for him, yeah, they definitely saved plenty of gold. You can see he was able to gather all the gold. He gathered all the gold in there. That's supremely interesting and important, of course, for him, as that's a boost of economy that he could definitely use. And you can see right now fully prepared Philosopher, aka Bullet, is gonna be joining in, getting Cavaliers and Forging, and that's right now basically 2 versus 1, because Argentinians are not absolutely ready for this. And you can see, sorry, this is the whole army right now for Aramis, and there's nothing else coming for them. There's nothing else coming for them on the land in here. So economies 108, 84, 49 for the opponents, 41, 74, 126. Arcs are having water, and they are still not winning the game. This is so bizarre at this point, but that's what can happen on migration. It's granted, it's very rare when something like this happens. Usually when you win the water, you are having kind of overall dominance and are one step closer to winning overall, because of course all the resources on the mainlands, or rather on the home islands. But this is looking very bad for Arcs, to be honest. So it's looking very bad for them. And even though they could be like stealing resources from the islands in here, like they definitely could, there are still something left. Oh well, this is kind of sloppy by Maxi. You definitely should be getting rid of all of this. And this is something that you need to keep in mind as player. Don't ever expect your opponent to be playing perfect. Because if he was playing perfect, then you don't need to play the game at all. You just need to wait for his mistakes. And for example, letting you back on your mines that you shouldn't be having at all. That is one of the mistakes that happens quite often. And well, those sneaks usually can win you the game, because that's an advantage that your opponent doesn't count with, doesn't know about, and those are the kinds that in games. But so far, Arcs are still fighting, because they are, at this point I'm kinda thinking they're refusing to believe that they're not gonna be winning the game with winning the water. Yeah, I'm kinda thinking that's what's going on through their heads right about now. As he's standing in the gate in there, just looking out. But Aramis is just getting pushed absolutely completely. And with all the extra resources that you get in through the main island, and that you cannot basically assault from the water, this is heading just kind of one way, I'm afraid, for Argentinians. So even though it was arguably a good map for them, based on what we have seen basically so far, and them overall being quite happy with water maps, this is actually gonna be turning into something different, it seems like. Because I don't see everybody, or rather anybody, actually coming back from this. Spaden seems to be playing this very well. And oh, do you see the hole in the wall in there? Oh yeah. This is exactly a hill playing a trick on the players as well. And yet again, yeah, that happens always. There is a hole in the wall that is letting all the army through, and you can see already the skeletons everywhere. Well, that hurts. All the red skeletons. You can see right now that Carbo is trying to produce some horses finally, and they probably think that there is still some kind of way in. And maybe it could be, because if you control the water, you can still like produce army on the even on the island and just basically transport it there. That can happen. That can be done. But is it really gonna be effective? I'm not certain, because right now Aramis is being pushed absolutely all together. Well, let's see if he actually builds something in here on the peninsula. Could be kind of fun, but not sure that he's actually gonna be going that far. Not really thinking so, as of course those Mangurais are killing absolutely everything, and much more than anything the economy. And you can see right now even the economy is starting to suffer for the Argentinians. And well, even though there is a very interesting fight on the right, that is kinda Maxi losing everything because of all the nice by bullet. Yeah, just protecting his allied arquebusiers and trying to make sure that this is not gonna be free gathering time for Maxi. He's probably gonna be continuing a bit south and trying to deal with all of this. So yeah, Spaden is right now absolutely everywhere, dropping a castle, claiming the territory for himself in full. And something similar is gonna be happening also in the middle in here quite soon as well, because the villages are getting slaughtered. You can see even the scout is having a bit of fun in there from bullet. And you see that finally RFRs are even jumping ahead on the score, even though they were losing by about 1400 points. Like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. They are right now in the front and quite decidedly reaching for the semifinals at this point. So can Arcs actually think of something special? They are definitely refusing to resign, because, yeah, they control the waters, so why the hell are they not winning overall? They're probably thinking something like that and along those lines. But the paladins from Carbo could be an idea. You can see they are missing some upgrades in there, but the iron casting is just now coming up. And the Mangurais, though, they are fully upgraded, and they're gonna be an issue, especially with all those choke points everywhere and the castle. And yep, the boats could be some kind of support, of course, for the horses. That could be a very viable support. Let's see how that's gonna be playing out. Of course, Bullet is also having paladins right now, almost fully upgraded. Missing blast furnace for him. Siege Gem coming up for him as well, as Maxi is advancing into Imperial Age. Interesting switch. And what is brewing on his island? Well, idols. Idle time, as he has finished even with the gold in there. And this is probably gonna be right now the problem for the Argentinians, running out of gold and out of resources, because they don't have anything on the mainland, like anything at all. They could be only potentially stealing something here, which is apparently some kind of attempt. Yeah, he has. You can see that Maxi has even landed the island, but unfortunately he doesn't have anything to steal all that much, because he let his opponent gather a lot of it. There's just gonna be a few scraps here and there. Spaden almost cleared his island. Bullet is the only one who is given so many resources actually, and that's one of the reasons why Argentinians are still keeping at it, because this is a lot of resources, this is a serious lot, and that could be keeping them in the game quite significantly. So Bullet's island is gonna be coming into Maxi's hands, or rather Maxi, no, this is Carbo's hands, but it's not gonna be for free, because apparently Bullet is quite interested in somehow still fighting for the island. You can see 72 siege workshops in there, and apparently from Mongol there is even a stable by Aramis, so quite a lot of fights still to be had for this island. But otherwise, in here, not much going on in there, as at the bottom, yeah, the fight didn't really go all that well for purple, which is something that we definitely did expect. But are there gonna be some kind of second attempt, or are they having some second attempt? Not really sure. The army from RFRs is definitely not small. It's on the larger variety, and even the boats seem to be right now kind of missing from the battles. You can see that actually Carbo is gonna be one of the last one with the boats in here, and this is the time for the GGs as Argentinians. Well, they are gonna be resigning, and unfortunately for them, that's kinda sad as they led 2-0, but at the same time, it's a one hell of an effort by RFRs from 0 down. A full-on comeback and overturning 0 down into 3-2 and advancing into semifinals. That's how silver banner holders from season 40, from the last season, fight. And well, just confirming that they definitely did deserve the top placement last season, and they're gonna be fighting for the banners this season as well, as they are through into the semifinals, and their opponents are gonna be, well, I can probably spoil it, or rather, I cannot spoil it because I haven't seen actually who won on the other quarterfinal between Gaucho A and Inlove. That's where the winner of that match, or rather who they are gonna be facing, winner of that match between Gaucho A and Inlove, is the clan that is gonna be waiting in semifinals for RFR. So comeback is real. Comeback is very much real. But well, Arcs were so close to actually winning, and not only in the fact that they were leading 2-0. In their home map on the Noma, they weren't really far away from actually closing it up. They weren't that far away. And well, the fourth game didn't really go for them all that much, even though it wasn't terrible. It was just slightly better executed by RFRs. And here, like, they were so close. They just won the water. They really won the water fair and square. But unfortunately for them, RFRs recognized the situation correctly and exactly at the right time, and did what they needed to, with Spaden landing at exactly the correct moment, protecting his resources, and well, you can see the result right now. He basically allowed even his allies, who were just basically totally hammered because they lost the water. They lost so many villages and economy in there. But yeah, basically Spaden's fast presence on the mainland allowed them to recuperate. And that resulted into this victory and overturning the match. Well, that was quite a worthy quarterfinal. One hell of a battle, and congratulations RFRs on advancing into semifinals. And well, Arcs, I have to say congrats as well, because they really played so well and so nicely. It was really anybody's quarterfinals, and unfortunately only one can advance. And this time, it came to RFRs. Maybe next time it's gonna be Arcs. Well, let's check the achievements of this last game, which is gonna be coming for Spaden. Well, there's no doubt whatsoever. That was the most influential player in the game, and basically the one who won it. There's no question about that at all. And after kind of the previous games where you could be thinking that they were kind of funny from Spaden, well, if anybody thought that he needed to redeem himself, well, he definitely did in this game. So yeah, it has to be said, even on the Nomad, he was playing kind of funny, but very well. Just the Black Forest was kind of in the interesting placements of his buildings and whatnot. He was doing what he could, and unfortunately it didn't work out then, but in the other games it worked well, and especially in this last one, he was the vehicle used by RFRs to win and advance. Yeah, well, plenty of slinging all around by plenty of players. But only RFRs were able to reap the correct benefits from that. How many actually did Dark Device Link? 10,000 in the end. From almost dead economy. From down to about 30 villages. That's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. Okay then, so GG, and yet again, congrats on Forest Run, and really well played Clan Ark as well.